Hey girl, it's Grace, and welcome back to Finally 50, where I am documenting my journey to becoming 50 and becoming the best version of myself that I can possibly be. So, today I want to talk about, I think, the elephant in the room of when we turn 50, or for those of you who are 50 and over, you just realized time is expensive, life is short, and there's just stuff I used to put up with that I'm not putting up with anymore. So today I want to share the things that I'm giving up and have given up as I'm turning 50 and I have zero regrets. A lot of times, y'all, it's not the big things. We know the big things we should give up. Like eating chocolate donuts at 10:30 at night. I'm not talking about that kind of silly-ish. I'm talking about the things that are quietly draining us that we've let go on for too long. As I'm on my journey to 50, I feel like something is really quietly shifting in me where I know that I cannot live my life negotiating with myself about things. I just have to make some decisions and be resolute about it. At this age, especially as women, I think we're at this place where we're really tired of trying to prove that we're easy to deal with or nice or sweet or whatever. We know we cannot carry the things that we shouldn't be carrying or have carried for too long. And we also know that we can get stuck with the familiar instead of really asking ourselves, is this for me? Is this man for me or this person for me? Just for example, or is it just familiar? And a lot of times it is just familiar. So yeah, I just want to talk about 7 things that I think women 50 and over should give up. Point blank period. Number 1, give up saying yes when you mean motherfucking no. I have had a lifetime of people pleasing, y'all, and saying yes to things that I shouldn't. I think a lot of times women are socialized to say yes to men in various environments, family, husband, in our work environment, peer environment. I think even with our children, sometimes we are socialized to be available. And it really doesn't matter what the reason is. If it's been out of fear, out of disappointing people, I can think of a ton of reasons for me that I've done it. None of them are good. And honestly, it don't matter. But as I approach 50 this year, and I would say arguably last year too, I was just like, these yes are costing you something, Grace. Like they're costing me something that's too big of a price to pay. It can cost you your energy, your mental health, and your peace. So if that's you and you need a permission slip to just say no more often, you got it from me, bitch. My favorite statement, and I just taught this to someone recently, is to say, that's not good enough. And add on there a pause afterwards. If someone presents you with a circumstance, say, that's not good enough, and just pause. A pregnant pause, if you will. And you know what I realized as I've aged is that the world doesn't end. I stand up for myself, the world doesn't end. And then sometimes I get more of what I want. Okay, girl. People who love you will adjust. People who don't love you or care or have any concern for your well-being will complain, and that will tell you everything, and either way your day will go on, baby. Number 2, give up explaining yourself to people who are fully committed to misunderstanding you. Because listen, y'all, a lot of people just want control. They don't want clarity. You can see that on YouTube in the comments. You can see, every social media platform, TikTok, Threads, Instagram. There's bots who are programmed to rage bait you. But even the people who are real people, they don't really want clarity. They don't want to understand you. They don't want to try to care for you in their response. They just want to trigger more engagement. And some of these people are just bored to tears and have no life. And this is what gets them off. But larger than that, I'm talking about real people and real interactions you may be having in work and family or whatever. But people want control. And they want you to shrink and bend over backwards and perform, basically do a whole ass minstrel show for them. On my journey to 50, I realized I'm not doing courtroom presentation style about why I have boundaries. I'm like that with men now too. Part of decentering men for me in this last year has been, this is my boundary. You get one explanation and you get one time to violate it, and that's it. I'm not going to present you with a manila folder this thick of how you can do better at keeping my boundaries. I'm just not. I love that about aging. I've lost all of my dams. My feelings are not up for debate, and I'm not going to write an essay to teach you how to treat me with basic respect. If someone is consistently victimizing themselves in the name of making themselves the victim and me the villain, I'm out. And then they can call me a bitch or whatever, and I don't care. That's the beautiful thing about this arrangement. Child, after everything I've lived through, I'm a multiple trauma survivor, and chances are you are too. We just don't have to put up with it, and that's the wonderful thing about aging. Number 3, please give up relationships that require you to abandon yourself. This one is really tender, but it's true. As someone who got out of domestic violence, I was very severely verbally and narcissistically abused by my last marriage. That was so painful for me, but it taught me that me abandoning myself in the name of healing him, trying to heal him and heal our marriage, was the worst thing I could possibly do. And I truly felt the cost of that on myself, my psyche, my body. I mean, I almost lost my life to that principle. Did I know I was abandoning myself fully at the time? No. But after a little while, I realized I'm sacrificing everything to try to help you heal and try to keep our marriage together, and it's killing me. Oh, that's a lesson I'll never forget. It's a lesson I'll never forget, and it will never get to that again. But I have seen little instances along the way as I have dated post divorce. It's taught me a lot. If you feel like you have to walk on eggshells with someone, and I'm not just talking about romantic partners, like it could be your mom, your sister, your cousin's sister, baby daddy, your coworker, your boss, etc. If you have to dim your light, if you feel anxious every time someone's name pops up on your phone, if you're constantly recovering after spending time with a certain person, it's not love, it's stress addiction. And at 50 years old, what we have to do, y'all, if we're going to stay alive for the long haul, we have to choose peace over history. While I understand that history, especially in a marriage, is really difficult to disregard, I'm not going to make it seem like it's not. But just because you go way back with somebody, it doesn't mean you're supposed to go forward with them. That's a really tough pill to swallow. And I'm not saying it's easy. Number 4, please give up the belief that people being nice means they are safe. You know, a lot of us were taught to be polite at all costs, especially as Gen Xers. I think we really were taught niceness, and being a nice girl is really the ultimate level of, like, you've arrived at womandom if you're a nice girl, a nice woman that everyone loves and everyone respects and everyone bows down to. You know, the fact that men tell us to smile all the time, that whole thing, that's part of it. The idea that we aren't supposed to make it a scene, the idea that we're supposed to be agreeable at all times, the fact that whole caricatures and stereotypes and tropes about Black women have been put into place about how angry we are. As an example to all women, like, don't be like that. Be the woman who smiles all the time and looks happy all the time and is agreeable all the time and does whatever you says and says yes all the time and lights herself on fire all the time so that other people can stay warm. See, that's the woman you want to be, not this angry Black woman over here. And the thing is on this journey to 50 and just aging in general, I have realized nice can be a survival strategy. And I get that. But survival strategies are not the same as truth and living in your truth. You know what I'm saying? Because I think that being clear is more valuable to me than you thinking I'm a nice, cute woman. And it's more valuable for me and my soul and my heart to be honest with you over just being polite with you. I know that I could get approval from someone by just doing whatever they want me to, even though it might violate my boundaries. But my boundaries are more important and valuable to me than having your approval. Because we can be kind and firm at the same time, y'all. We really can. Can fully tell y'all I am one of the most loving, kindest people that you will ever meet. I really am a loving, truly loving, kind person. But I have also made myself very, very unavailable for nonsense. And that is such a beautiful gift of freedom that aging has given me. Number 5, please, and I beg you, women 50 and over, we have to stop punishing our body in order to earn worthiness. Oh, this is so big because we as women are really taught to be at war with our bodies. And there's already a war within. That's what's really sad. Society, patriarchy, culture has put on us an additional war. Fight the hair that's growing on your coochie. Fight the hair that's growing on your underarms and your face or your upper lip. Right here, this area of your eyebrow. Fight the bags under your eyes. Fight your thighs. Fight cellulite. Fight stretch marks. What else we supposed to be fighting? Remind me, y'all. What else we supposed to be fighting? Skincare. We supposed to be fighting. Oh, fight back the grays. There's so many things. Oh, keep your titties upright. Fight gravity. Don't forget to fight fat. You got to shrink and hide and apologize for taking up space. Like, it's really ridiculous. And I think at 50, for me, there's things that I'm going to manage for my own sake. Am I someone who's going to ever probably be okay having hair on my upper lip just to go against society? No. I'm not. And I am, in fact, dyeing my hair. I'm not ready to go gray, although my gray is coming in pretty sparsely. If I didn't dye it, you would see that, like, the whole perimeter of my hairline is sparsely going gray. It's not the whole perimeter, but it definitely would be. I'm not ready to go fully gray. I'll be honest with y'all. I'm not a revolutionary like that yet. But what I have decided is that my body is my home. It's birthed my children. It's brought me 3 lovely children, and it's kept me alive and functioning this long, and I'm not going to make it a project. It is my home, and I'm happy with it, and I love it. So I'm not going to do self-hate on my body and starve my body and punish it to the point of near death just to call that discipline or worse self-love if it's not that. And I'm definitely not going to take part in trends that leave me feeling like exhausted or shamed or weird or whatever. I'm just not. Or even worse, dead, because women are dying trying to get BBLs and other procedures, cosmetic procedures. And FYI, I think women should do whatever makes them happy and comfortable. And I stand in no judgment whatsoever of women who get lip fillers or Botox or BBLs or tummy tucks or facelifts or any of that. No judgment to you if you've ever had any of that. Those are expensive as hell. And there are some clear risks. And I do think we should go into it with a very clear mind about what our motive is. And I hope it's not because you feel like you have to earn worthiness to look a certain way. That's all my hope is if we ever of us do any of that. So I try to focus on the things that make me feel clear and alive and hopeful, strong, and at peace with my body. And that includes rest and movement that I enjoy, not movement that hurts me. I mean, I used to be a runner. I don't run anymore because honestly, it kind of hurts. My titties bounce a lot. They're kind of big and heavy, and it's kind of annoying. Food that nourishes me, finding ways to reduce stress, and then doing things that I still feel good about doing. Like, for example, covering up my grays is something I still feel relatively good about doing. I don't feel like if I don't do it, I'm an unworthy woman. It's just something I feel more comfortable doing. So I'm going to keep doing it. I'm going to do me, boo boo. And I also realize that to me, I want to look pretty and confident and feel like I'm presenting my best self and not necessarily to look a certain way, but I want to feel good at 50 and 50 plus when I turn 50. Number 6, please give up chasing accountability and closure for people who refuse to take accountability. Honestly, this one really freed me. This is another big lesson I learned on my journey to really fully decentering men and honestly, I kind of learned this too from leaving an abusive marriage is that closure is not always needed. Sometimes closure is just you deciding, I'm not going back to the version of myself that allowed that treatment. Sometimes it's just safer to let someone go and not pursue closure with them and decide, I have it within me to give myself the closure that I need. Also, those people are gone. They may have died or whatever. But if they're alive, that doesn't mean they're going to apologize if you give them your heartfelt heart and energy. Some people are going to rewrite history, or they're not going to remember correctly, or they're going to gaslight you. Some people are going to act really confused about what you're saying, and then it's going to make you even more frustrated and mad. And then some people are going to treat you as if you've done something wrong by finally choosing yourself. And that's a lot of noise. Y'all, we don't need that. That's a lot of noise we don't need, especially when those answers we can meet within ourselves. I think I've just realized that it's really a fool's task for me to expect someone else to come to the conclusions they need to come to and about the kind of person they were and the things they did wrong and the accountability that they know they should take. Like if I'm really dependent on that for my own joy, peace, closure, whatever, I could be waiting for a really long time. And if I have hung my hat on that, like I am not going to heal unless I get that from them, you're not going to heal. And for those of us who's been divorced, we know that it is best to walk away. And you know what Beyonce said? Best revenge is your paper. And finally, number 7, please give up the idea that you have to do everything the hard way. In my last year and on my journey to 50, I think the one thing that I'm really realizing is that everything does not have to be hard for it to be good. Glorifying struggle or the struggle life is not needed or necessary. Or I have thought in the past, like if it's not really hard for me, then it doesn't count, or somehow I'm exempt from being able to be celebrated because like, oh, that wasn't that hard. I would really encourage you to look into this mindset because I think for some of us, it's been so ingrained in us, especially as Gen Xers. We grew up hearing like money doesn't grow on trees.
If you want anything in life, you gotta work for 12 hours a day.
And I think it prevents us from just asking yourself like, what would this look like if it were just easier? What would it look like if I just got help or asked for help? Or what if it looked like if I didn't have to prove my strength by suffering? Like, what if I actually just am strong and don't do things that lead to more suffering? So, yeah, I think once I realized that I actually am a really strong person and I am really resilient, and that's okay. And I have been through a lot of hard stuff, y'all. I'm a multiple trauma survivor. And I think that has kept me for a really long time thinking that everything always has to be super traumatic. I mean, even dating. I realized that it doesn't have to be. You can just walk away and have better boundaries. And honestly, that little mindset shift changed a lot of even the type of men who approach me now. It's made me just really unwilling to volunteer like I did before for things that are really unnecessarily difficult. Like now I'm like, no, I volunteer for a good life, an easy life, a more simple life, recognizing that things just don't have to be hard. And guess what? Things have gotten easier. So yeah, I'm wondering which one stood out to you. These are some of the lessons that have really stood out to me in the past. I would say 2 years as I've been on this road to 50, realizing I have to do better. And I don't have any regrets. I really have experienced an enormous amount of peace in the last few years as I've experienced more clarity around these things. A lot of time has come back to me, and I also feel like I've got a piece of myself back in some way, or I've come home to myself in more of a deeper, meaningful way. So yeah, drop it in the comments. I'd love to hear something that stood out to you or that you plan on working on in your 50th year or beyond. And if you want to hear more conversations like this about starting over, about aging, about healing, about building our next chapter, and coming with me on my road to 50, please subscribe. And I'll see you in the next episode. Bye.